Here's the big question.
How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jay Kinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire Podcast.
What's going on, everybody out there? This is Jay Kinder. I'm here with my friend James Massey, and this is our top 200 interviews where we are interviewing the top influencers, not just in EXP, but in the real estate industry that are growing their revenue share here at EXP. And so we're going to break down what's working, what's not working, so that you can learn from what's getting results as far as growing your brand here at EXP and growing your network here at EXP. So without any further ado, James Massey, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. Happy to be with you, brother.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So I have a lot of questions I want to ask just to uncover kind of your journey here at EXP and how things have been working for you, and really just what you've been doing that's been helping you grow your organization here at EXP. And so, kind of start with just kind of the numbers. What's your total group size up to? What's your FLA to FLQA count with your frontline agent to your frontline qualified agent count? What do those numbers look like today? And then how many months have you been in the company?
Yeah. Month wise, I mean, I guess this month here, after this month, will make my third year total at EXP.
Right.
As of today, we have 583 in our total group.
Yeah.
And basically, it's 21 FLQAs and then 31 FLAs.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Right on, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
That's awesome. And so, my saying is that if you can get to 500, you can get to 5,000, right? So, that's the journey that you're on. So congratulations for that.
Well, you told me before if once I hit 150, it was going to start to take a whole new, process of its own. And,
right.
You was right. It started to just kind of build and grow from there. So yeah. So you're saying 5,000, then hey, I'm accept that one just like
right.
I.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely, man. It's absolutely. And let's kind of unpack some of what got you to this point, because I think a lot of folks joining getting to 50 is hard, right? Like it feels like you're almost pushing a boulder up a hill, and sometimes when I do the math on this and share this with folks, it's always they're always kind of shocked. It's like, one or two people a month is about the average number of people that you personally sponsor. It's usually not, there's very few people in the organization that are doing significantly more than that. But what did you do that in the beginning that got traction, that you feel like worked at least starting to build some of your in the very beginning, the numbers that you were putting on? What did you do that was working for you, would you say, and got you some momentum in the beginning?
I mean, it was hard in the beginning, because you're trying to figure this thing out. I mean, I would say honestly, just getting around people that have already done it, and then just kind of copying what they were doing. I mean, early on, I was on so many calls with you and just kind of hearing what you say and how you say it, and then just kind of copying that when I was calling my own people. I was on some calls where it wasn't even my agent that was trying to come over to the company. So I got on those calls, just kind of hearing the lingo, so to speak.
Right.
And that helped a whole lot in the beginning. After that, I would just say that just making a schedule in order to reach out to a certain amount of people every single day, no matter what. Well, not really every day, but at least once a week, no matter what. And just kind of leveraging you and Michael, as far as like your production and your success with that other agent, and just kind of set them up with the Zoom. Actually showing them I use the Brent Gold, showing them the Brent Gold model explain, and then just being able to set up the three-way.
Right. So your process in the beginning, because I know I could go back and pull it up. I might actually do that in my calendar just to like pull it up and see how many three-way calls that we had. But your process was invite them, So in the conversation, what would that conversation look like? Tell me kind of what would be the conversation you would have with these agents that would ultimately lead to you inviting them to watch the model explain?
Yeah. So the beginning is always, hey, I'm giving you a call because I'm looking to partner up with an agent in your area and be able to share deals and information with. Wanted to find out a little bit about you. I try to work within my sphere first. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing real estate? So that's usually my intro going into every call. So from there, of course, they'll kind of talk about themselves and what things they're happening. So then I'll just have a couple of questions, like, all right, so do you work more with buyers or sellers? So they'll say like, oh, I'm working with a lot of buyers. I really want to work more with sellers. I'm like, okay, what's your goal within the next 12 months? Where are you right now? Like in the last 12 months, how many deals have you closed? In the next 12 months, how many deals are you want to close? And then after they finish talking about themselves, what I'll do is I'll just, like I said, I'll leverage you and I'll say, hey, basically, let me tell you a little bit about me. What I've been able to do is partner up with some really great real estate agents across the country. Have you heard of a guy by the name of Jay Kinder by chance? And it's like, yes, no, don't matter. What about Michael Reese? Yes, no, don't matter. Then I'll go into it. I said, well, Jay was number 2 in the world at Caldwell Banker, selling 530 homes a year. His partner, Michael, was top 10 at Keller, selling 310 homes a year. And basically what they started doing is realizing if you put the right things in the right order, you're able to grow your business really fast. What I started doing is connecting with these guys, and I started utilizing their system. And I grew you can use whatever your success is. But, I'll say, I grew my business. I went from 36,000 in commission to 360 in 12 months and, something like that. And then I'll say of course they used to charge for this. They had a whole coaching platform and they helped agents become number 1, 2, or 3 in their marketplace. And what they did is they found this new real estate model where they're able to help agents like me or anybody else without charging them any money whatsoever and without getting any of their commission whatsoever, and actually helping them to create an exit strategy within real estate and also being able to create equity. Now, and then, my takeaway from them, I'll say like, well, I'm going to be honest. I don't think everything is for everybody because I know that's not true, but I just know this worked 100% for me. If I was to show you what this model looked like, is that something that you think you'd be interested in checking out?
I feel like you said that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, everybody that's watching this video, like rewind and re-listen to that 1,000 times until you can say it and rehearse that until you can say it. That was literally the best that I've heard it said in any of the interviews that we've done. You have a very clear script, a very clear process that you take people through and get to them to the point of saying yes. And that's the invitation. That was the best invitation script that I've heard. And so I'm going to share just because, this is, success leaves clues. And I've been trying to, we just got off an alpha influencer call. And, the thing that I feel like we need to do as a company is get on the same page as to what it is that we say. I think that's the challenge that most people have is they don't know how to start that conversation and they don't know how to get them interested enough to take a look at the opportunity. And what we know is that if you talk about EXP, you're going to get shut down. We know that to be a fact. So that is not the way to do it. And most people out there trying to talk about EXP, and we know it doesn't work. And so, because people think it should work, but it doesn't, right? Like they think they know what EXP is, and they're going to say no because they've been pitched before. And so you have to be creative in the way that you do it. And this has been the way that we've talked that has worked the best. So I'm going to share, if I can here, let me see if I can share my screen here. What it'll give me. No, I don't have 2 monitors, so I won't do it just at risk of not being able to get back to. So I was going to show. So I pulled up in my calendar. I counted 43 three-way calls that me and you've had in the last 3 years. So that's a lot of three-way calls. And you mentioned this, and I think this is important for people to get is, you got on those calls and you listened to what was the process that I was using. And then as your organization grew, have you done three-way calls and followed a similar process, or when did that transition happen where you said, okay, I'm going, there's always a time that when you're talking to someone, you should leverage your upline and your revenue share group to have a conversation, right? There's never a time that's not good. If it's a top producing agent or if it's somebody that you're really trying to get that, is going to be valuable, leverage somebody else. But, are you doing that for your group? And if so, when did you start teaching your group this process, and how has that worked for your group as far as your growth?
Yeah, I mean, probably I probably started like with the three-way calls. I mean, I had to get comfortable first, obviously. I had to get, understand, what it is, what was the objective within the three-way call. So the biggest thing was, learning that it's not about my need or what I feel like is important. It's about what they feel is important. So once I understood that, I mean, I started implementing it probably within, I don't know, like a few months afterward, just trying to get people over in that whole process. And just teaching people how to do three-way. Like, hey, set the three-way call up, get them on the phone, and make me seem like I'm a god, and then after that, be quiet. so,
Right.
so I mean that's pretty much what the process, and just seeing how you were doing it. I mean, it was always about the other person's need, like what they wanted. So if they needed production, three-way call was about production. If they needed the exit strategy, revenue, it was about that. If they liked the stock, it was about that. Since it's always about their need and what it is that they want. We put it in place, and I mean, it's been working. I mean, I've been doing it like I said, probably 3 months afterward. I would probably say 3 months afterward I started doing it alone.
Right. So yeah. So now you're leading. You're leading. You're a leader, creating leaders and teaching them the same process that had been working for you. And what was the result in that, and how has that helped individuals in your group grow specifically? Is there anyone you could point to that's been very consistently doing that and is having a lot of growth? Or tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, the good thing is, when I first started, I was thinking that I had to do everything on my own and to just kind of build everything. But when I started reaching out and to start connecting with people, like we got some really great leaders. So Levi is one person that I brought on board, and he's a great leader. He's been able to obviously bring people on and grow this company, but at the same time, he's been a student as well. So like, he started going to the events and learning. Another, of course, Andre is a killer out there, doing his thing and, bringing people on and growing the organization. But I mean, then you got Pierre, he's another one. Rick Dillon is another one. I mean, Gary Wilson is another one. Like all these guys within our organization that, they kind of took the ball and started running with it. I mean, it's been great to see how it builds so fast. Right.
And so, yeah, at a certain point, at what point do you feel like you had people that were going to run, and I think, Levi was probably one of your first leaders that followed the same process, executed it, flawlessly. And he started attracting people like Andre. Andre followed the process religiously. And all of this is, has really expanded for you now. But what would you say is the point you felt like, oh my gosh, this thing is going to take off with or without me, right? Like where you started feeling like it was less of the you pushing a boulder up a hill and more of it just being dragged along with it.
Yeah, probably about 250. When we hit about 250, that's when I start just saying, if I don't do anything, it's just gonna grow without me. We had a good number at 250. Rev share was, pretty consistent at that particular time. And, everybody was, either doing some things on their own or they were coming to a lot of the events and getting the training. I mean, the biggest thing I think with me was just mindset. Like, once I realized that, hey, this is the direction that I need to go in and knowing that this is how to do it. And getting, once other people started doing the same thing, that's when I knew it was going to take on a whole new process of its own. So,
tell me this, man. How has this changed your life or your day-to-day business and what it is that you focus on since getting to this level? Man,
it's fun. I mean, that's the biggest thing is fun right now. So yeah. I always say, like, as when you're working with buyers or sellers, I mean, you're in their life for a moment. Of course, you're supposed to follow up with them and stuff like that. But right now, if you can actually impact an agent's life where they can actually start to one, be more productive, but then two, start building this thing out. I call it a brokerage within a brokerage. Like, and you see their families, like you're gonna be in their life a whole lot more. You get to see their growth. You get to see them, be able to go on vacations more. You get to see them do all this other stuff. And then at the same time, while you're able to do that, I mean, you get more and more free. And that's really what I think that everybody should be going towards, is freedom. And and that's kind of what I'm starting to see now. Like I'm seeing more and more time that I'm being able to have, and spend time doing what I want to do rather than things that I have to do.
Right. Talk to me a little bit about events and how they played a role, if at all, in your growth, and how you're leveraging the events that happen, whether it's Go's events or our events or the EXPCon or any of those types of events to help with your growth. Yeah.
I mean, we actually, our first event, we flew down to Dallas for one of the boot camps. I mean, that's the first time I met you in person. I talked to you on the phone, but it was the first time I met you in person. And I actually brought, Levi was one of the guys I brought with me, and Julia was another person I brought with us. So, they went back and they started recruiting people, and they started building their business. And, we just realized at that particular time that we needed to do something here. So we started doing a mastermind. We literally copied what y'all were doing there. Actually the mastermind was the second event. So the first one was the boot camp. The second event was Key West. So after Key West, that totally changed the direction of our business, because we were just wanting to sell more houses. I remember our early conversations with you was all about, hey Jay, how can I do $1 million in commission? And that's all I talked about. It's like, hey, how can I do $1 million? How can I sell, X amount of houses? And you always check me. It was like, hey man, is it about the houses or is it about the money? It's like, because really it ain't about the GCI. GCI, you can't spend that. So I remember us talking about that. But when we went to Key West, and Brent showed up in flip flops, and Gene showed up in flip flops, and I think we was the only ones with suits on. It was crazy, but at that particular time, they started talking about this whole revenue share, and I never forget. He said some people need to sell less houses, and I always tell the story. When I went to Brent afterward, and I started asking him about like one of his plans to sell houses, and he told me, but it was kind of like he was like disappointed. It was like, man, like you're not getting it. You need to be doing this other thing. So I think that was day one. But after the couple of days and getting it soaked in, we went back and we started doing a mastermind, in Atlanta. So we did it at our office, and I knew we had to have something, because EXP is virtual. So we need to have something that was, where people can actually get face to face and see each other. So we started doing these masterminds, and we was doing it. I think it was like 4 or 5 of us at first that was doing it. And as somebody joined the company, we'll have them to come to the mastermind. And one day it was one person, and they said, well, I don't, this person, they're not with us, but they want to come to the mastermind. So we were like, okay, all right, we'll go ahead and invite them. So they invited them. Then somebody else said, I want to do the same thing. So then they invited them, and then those people started to join. It was like, oh man, we got something here. So then we started putting out for everybody to invite. So we literally went from a conference room that holds 10 people to a bigger conference room that holds 25 people, to a bigger conference room that held 50 people. So then, what the plan at that particular time, because we started getting agents that was outside of Atlanta, and the group was growing, but nobody was able to participate because it was only local. So the thought process was we wanted to stream it. We were going to stream it to all these different different places. But then COVID hit. So when COVID hit, everybody went to Zoom. Like everybody in the country was like Zoom. So we started putting on Zoom, and it was like probably one of the best things that could have ever happened, because now we were able to connect with people, our agents in California, and, we got Canada, Mexico, Florida, like everywhere. Everybody was able to participate with that. So, it just kind of built from there. So we just started from there, started adding like little trainings, and, we do like a coaching call with Joe, We do a Monday focus. We just kind of put these events in order to one, help the agents that are already with us, but two, be able to invite outside agents to kind of get a sneak peek into what it is that we offer, other agents as a value proposition.
Right.
So the events outside that you all have with Gove and all that. I mean, when I went to Cabo, I mean, it helped change my thought process. But the biggest thing that I just realized last time is like, I should not be going to these events alone. I need to do whatever it takes to get not only, myself there, but, agents that I'm connected with, but also agents that are not with the company as well. So that's been my focus now, is like getting as many agents as possible to outside events, because at that particular time, their mind will start to change, just like my mind changed when I went to an outside event.
Right. Yes. And I definitely want to like go back and point that out too, is like, day one, you were, and I remember when you came to the boot camp. The boot camp our boot camp was a 3-day event, nothing but selling real estate. We didn't actually talk about anything whatsoever on stage about EXP or about revenue share or anything. And so that, but that's how you got everybody to come to that. But, outside of that event, we talked a little bit about revenue share, but even then you come to the next event, the mastermind, which was really more tilted towards revenue share. At least a third of that event was tilted towards that. But even after that first day, you were still thinking production, right? Yep. And it started. You said it started to soak in, and then you went back and did things that you otherwise, I feel like, probably wouldn't have done, at least not right away, in terms of the events and the masterminds, and started to shift a little bit of focus towards the agent attraction side of things, right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
And so that event was potentially pivotal in the process of finally seeing, okay, I got to focus a little bit on this. It's not about, a million GCI, it's about what you keep. And then what's going to be the long-term best thing I can focus a little bit of time on is growing this revenue share. And you and your group, and who all was at the very, very first mastermind? Do you remember? Was Andre at that one, or was it?
No,
next one. No.
The very first mastermind, I think it was just me, Ron, and Dan.
Yeah, that's right. And so like the things that happened there, if you hadn't been at that event, what might have transpired after that? Maybe some of the people that you got, maybe you wouldn't have got, right? Like, or some of the conversations that you had, you probably wouldn't have had, right? And so I just want everybody to pick up on the importance of events in terms of, we say it all the time, is like, big decisions happen at big events. If you're focused on revenue share and you're not coming to the big events and you're not getting your people to the big events, you're not getting them to see the opportunity truly enough to like kind of decompress outside of your business and be like, okay, all right, I get it now. I see what I should be focusing more time on, and I see what y'all are doing and see what's working, and you collaborate and you come back with a plan. And so events are huge. So you mentioned a little bit of this, James. But what I know that you have a lot of things that you're helping agents. And again, this is people join people, right? They're joining this company, they're joining this group, but they join people, and so they there's a belief that hey, they're going to learn and be able to grow and sell more real estate. And 99% of people that join don't just join because of the revenue share, as we all know. So what are you doing in the onboarding and the weekly just to stay in, how are you creating community? How are you involving them? I know you mentioned a little bit of this that you're doing, but tell me a little bit more about what you're doing to onboard successfully and build community around your group.
Yeah. So, I mean, my process is, whenever somebody newly joins, the first thing I do is I get them connected with my admin. And then my admin, they help them set up their KV Core. They help them set up their Sky Slope. They help them get into enterprise, just kind of, walking them through that process, help them set up some of the automation within KV Core. Before we wasn't doing that and everybody was just loose. And I was thinking like, all right, watch this video or watch that video. And it's like, they're not going to watch the video. Right. So they'll do a Zoom. They'll get on the Zoom with my admin and they'll just kind of walk them through the process from the beginning. And, then the second part of it is, getting them plugged into honey badgers, like right away. Getting them plugged into we got Agent Builders Facebook group, so that's where we house all our stuff. So get them plugged into Agent Builders, and then from there just making sure they're being invited to the training. So, the trainings consist of, like, you've been on there, all these different, influencers have been on there that done really great things in real estate. And, they'll talk about like listing presentations, buyer presentations, how to get more leads, how to, grow a business, how to build a team, and, just inviting them like once a month to those events. And then the coaching call, like with Joel, he's been killing it lately. Just getting them, consistently going to something weekly. I think that's the biggest thing, because if they are consistently going to something weekly, then they're always thinking about real estate. So what I do is I send a text message out every week for our events. And what I do is, whoever the speaker is, I'll just lift them up, elevate them within the text message. And then I'll do the if I would you, Brian Carruthers, if I was to send you this invite, is this something that you would like to do? But I take the guesswork out of the agents having to do that. And I'll just say, I'll say, hey, take this text, send this to 10 real estate agents. And then, it's kind of working on duplication with that. So they'll do that. And then they'll start getting responses, and then that's how we get our invites there. But it's more just text messaging, weekly events, getting them there, getting great people that's gonna provide value.
Love it. That's awesome. Very good stuff. So let me ask you this: what do you feel like is the number one mistake that folks are making as it relates to agent attraction?
Talking too much. I mean, I would say, you go in there and, you say too much. And I mean, that's what I did early on. It was like, hey, we got revenue share, we got stock, we got, this or that, like really, I think the biggest thing is just kind of like, you want to pique interest, that's what I, just kind of pique interest. Don't say too much. And then, just kind of set things up there. And then letting, it's freeing for me to know that between the video and the three-way call, that does all the heavy lifting for me, where I don't have to think about nothing. So like, if I can, all I have to do is master invite and pique interest. Those are my two things. I try to break things down simple. I'm a simple person like that. So invite, pique interest. After that, video does the heavy lifting. Set up three-way call. The other person on three-way does the heavy lifting. After that, inviting to an event that we're having. That's literally all I've been doing. Yeah. That's a system. That's a process, and it's been working. That's amazing. So yeah, man, I really appreciate you sharing some insights and sharing what's been working in your organization. This is one that everyone should be listening to multiple times, because you laid out the process as well as I've heard it laid out by anyone, and it's getting results, and your group's growing. What rate is your group growing at monthly right now? Do you know the percentage wise? Yeah. I mean, we're between like 6 and 8% per month. I mean, that's where it is. I mean, it was a little bit lower this month, but my wife, let me tell you how organized I am. Yeah. This is my chart. Yeah. Right. So my wife helped me project like how many agents I should have in the next, 12 months. And we're just calculating all this stuff down. And, by December should be like 941. Based upon like the process of us growing. So I mean, we're just tracking it, and just I try not to get too excited. Put it that way. Right. Yeah. It's somewhat predictable, right? Like at this point, the growth, which 6% is doubling every 12 months. I mean, it's inevitable over time. If you continue to do the things you're doing and leading your people, the retention is going to be there, and you're going to continue to grow. And, it's just going to continue to double and double and double. And it gets exciting. I mean, it gets real exciting. So congratulations, man. I'm proud of you and everything that you've built. And it's a pleasure to be in business with you, and always a pleasure to hear. Is there anything else that you would tell someone, is one piece of advice you would give anybody before jumping off this call you'd like to share? Yeah, I mean, I would do two, right? So I would say, one, go to the events. Like you said, like big decisions are made at big events. I mean, your decision to do something is made at those big events. And then the second part of it, like leverage the three-way. I mean, like, I've learned so much from you, and you've been there like helping, my agents, but, helping me understand the best way to do this by listening to you do it. I'm a big C type learning person, I can see somebody else doing it and I hear how they're doing it. That's how I learn. So I've been able to learn a whole lot just from the 3 ways that we've been able to be on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you, brother, and have a great day and a great week. And thanks for sharing those insights. And this is going to be an episode everyone needs to listen to. That's for sure. So appreciate you, James.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
All right, buddy.